Are you able to surrender mentally? That is the question we're presented with at the time of this new moon in Gemini. Astrologer, we're going to dive in today all about this new moon happening in the zodiac energy of Gemini. We've currently been in the energy of Gemini as the sun has transited through this zodiac sign from the middle of May. And so we have already been feeling this energy. Gemini being socializing and networking and connecting. Summer is in full swing. We've got a lot of planetary movement moving into the fiery and spicy zodiac sign of Leo at this time. So lots to cover around this new moon in Gemini. But before we even do that, we have to kind of talk about Gemini. What is Gemini? What are we supposed to be starting new? Remembering new moons are new beginnings, new chapters in our life. And so we'll break all of that down in this video. And like I do at the end of all of my new and full moon videos, I will be giving you some rituals and activities that you can do around the time of this new moon to maximize this energy. So let's just go ahead and dive into the basics. This new moon in Gemini is happening on June 18th at 12:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and adjust that for your time zone. More than likely, if you are in the Central, Mountain, or Pacific time zone, this new moon is actually going exact on June 17th. Now it is happening at 26 degrees of Gemini. So let's go ahead and pull up the chart here. We can see the sun and the moon are conjunct in the sky, what I like to call hugging it out, which happens once every 28 days. This time it's happening in the zodiac energy of Gemini at 26 degrees. So you want to go ahead and open up your birth chart, check and see if you have any planets around that degree point in your chart. So that could be at 25, 26, 27 degrees of Gemini. Now, there's a lot of other planets that are acting up around the time of this new moon. So we're going to get into that as we do the specific breakdown. But before we can even dive into that, we have to understand what the zodiac energy of Gemini brings to the table so we can truly understand the energetic influence we will be under as we move into this new energy. Remember, new moons are new beginnings, new chapters, times for us to start things in our life with a fresh perspective. So what is the energy of Gemini? Well, it's Gemini season because we can see the sun is in Gemini. So wherever the sun is indicates the zodiac season that we're currently under. And I want you to think of the sun as a spotlight, right? When the sun is out in the sky, it is highlighting everything. We can see things clearly. So it's like a microscope that we are viewing life through. Now, as that sun is radiating and shining down upon us, when it's in a zodiac sign, it's shining and radiating down upon us that zodiac energy. And since the sun is currently in Gemini, we are in Gemini season and we are being radiated with Gemini energy. Now, this has been going on for a while because we know at the time of this new moon on June 17th/18th, depending on where you're located, the sun is at 26 degrees. Each zodiac sign only has 30 degrees, 30 days in a zodiac season, a zodiac calendar, if you will. So the sun has already moved through the energy of Gemini for 26 days by the time of this new moon. So we've already been feeling this energy of Gemini. Now, Gemini is an air sign. Let's go ahead and start with that. Anytime we're dealing with the energy of air, we're dealing with thoughts, conversation, speaking, connecting, communicating, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, conceptualizing things. So anything in our life that has to do with relationships as far as connecting or sharing or conversing has to do with the energy of Gemini. So when we're in the sun season of Gemini, we are wanting to be social butterflies. Have you been feeling that since the middle of May? Wanting to attend more social events, wanting to talk on the phone with your friends. Maybe you've been in the mood to share your thoughts or ideas. You've been writing, you've been creating, you've been texting or blogging or podcasting. Any of the spoken or written language, anything to do with sharing and expressing your thoughts, feelings, and ideas is very Gemini energy. Now, something else we have to understand about Gemini is not only is it an air sign, but it's also a mutable sign, which means that it doesn't mind changing. It doesn't mind adapting. It's very much go with the flow. And when we're dealing with the energy of Gemini, it is the twins. So it's two things existing at the same time. A lot of times we say the energy of Gemini is bipolar or two-faced, but it's not that at all. It's truly believing that everything is possible all the time. So it's this and that, not this or that. So if you know someone with Gemini energy in their chart, they want to stay in and they want to go out. They want this flavor of ice cream and that flavor of ice cream. So it makes Gemini energy very chaotic, very multidimensional, very multitasking, wanting to do all the things all the time. And it can feel a little overwhelming or anxiety producing because it is flighty and it is on the go and it is willing to change direction at any moment in time. So as we're feeling this sun season of Gemini, we're feeling a little hectic. Do you feel like you're running a million miles per hour? And not only like in your life with your to-do list, but also in your mind. That mental anguish, that mental chatter has probably been racing since the sun entered Gemini in the middle of May. Now, also there's an energy of travel or transportation with Gemini. So it's going places, it's connecting with people, it's going to, social engagement. So if you've been really on the go a lot by car, by train, by bike, by plane, whatever that travel looks like for you, it's typically because the sun is in the energy of Gemini. Or maybe you're thinking. Gemini deals with the mind. So you're thinking a lot about your future plans or future travels or what you want to do or what you want to accomplish. Again, we're very much in the mind during Gemini season. Along with that, we're also dealing with the concept of learning. So this is listening to podcasts, reading books, attending classes, asking questions, absorbing information. There's a very student-teacher energy related to Gemini. So whether you are the one teaching or you're the one learning, there's a lot of exchanging of information. Overall, it's a very active energy. It's a very creative energy. It's a very logical, gaining facts, gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, gaining resources. It can be a little ADHD, a little scattered, a little hectic, but it's allowing us, when I'm talking from a relational astrologer perspective, to connect with others, right? Connect with words, connect with language, connect with energy. So I love that for Gemini season. Now, remembering we're dealing with the new moon. So this is new beginnings, new ways of doing all of these, new chapters in your life. So are there new social networks you're wanting to connect with? Are there new things you're wanting to learn? Are there new things that you're wanting to express and speak out into the world? Are you wanting to start teaching something? Are you wanting to travel somewhere new? All of these things can be new beginnings or new chapters started around the time of a new moon in Gemini. Now, a new moon in Gemini happens every single year, so we have an opportunity to start new in these areas of our life, usually around this time of year, every single year. And so with that, in the 2023 Astrology Retrograde Journal, if you open up to page 46, you will see the new moon in Gemini page where I list not only the date and the degree points and all the specifics you're going to want to know, but I also list some journal prompts for you, a new moon ritual, the crystals, herbs, and chakras that you can work with around the time of this new moon. Now remember, new moon energy and full moon energy can be felt for 3 days before up to 3 days after. Now, in 2023, specifically with this new moon in Gemini, that's happening on June 17th/18th, depending on your time zone, the sun will quickly be moving out of Gemini and into Cancer 3 days later. So we're going to be feeling this Gemini energy, but as soon as this new moon is over, we are shifting and moving into the energy of Cancer. A whole new energy to understand, which is on the next page of this astrology journal, so you can understand the next sun season of Cancer that we'll be moving into after Gemini. And let's go ahead and dive into the specifics happening around the new moon in Gemini in 2023. So as we pull up the chart here, of course, you're going to see the sun and the moon, both at 26 degrees of Gemini. And then we have some other major life coach planets that are influencing us around the time of this new moon that's going to help us dictate how we're going to start new in these Gemini areas of our life. So first thing first, what we always do is we're going to look for the planet that rules this lunation. And because this lunation, this new moon, is happening in the energy of Gemini, the ruler of Gemini is Mercury. So where is Mercury at the time of this new moon? Well, he's right at home in Gemini. Mercury rules the energy of Gemini. I call him the landlord of Gemini, and he's currently at home in his full power. That is adding to this Gemini scattered, ADHD, mentally stimulating, overly socializing, overcommitting to plans and activities in our life. He is adding to that energy because Mercury rules our mind, how we think, how we speak, how we express, how we communicate, the language and the tone that we're using, how we're going about this mental part of our life. Now remember, Mercury just got done with a retrograde back in Taurus. And when Mercury gets out of a retrograde, he is like speeding up, getting stuff done. He feels like he's lost a lot of time. So he fast forwards. And he's very quickly rushed through Taurus, and now he's in Gemini. He is not going to be in Gemini very long. He entered into Gemini at the beginning of June. And by the time we get to the end of the month on the 26th, he is already dipping out and moving into the energy of Cancer. So not a lot of time here for him. So what is the lesson that he's adding to this new moon energy? Well, because Mercury's at home, it's really about our mind, our thoughts, what we're processing at this time. What is the information that we're absorbing that's going to help us start this new chapter, right? If we're wanting to socialize with new people, if we're wanting to learn new things, there's going to be some data we're going to have to collect in order to make that happen, right? So we are, for instance, wanting to meet new people. Well, we're going to have to figure out, where are these people hanging out? What events are on the calendar for the rest of the summer? What are my plans? And then if maybe you are wanting to learn new information, maybe you're wanting to start a program or a course in the fall, you're going to have to do some research. So this is a very researching and investigative energy of collecting information and collecting data around the time of this new moon that is going to inspire you to move forward in your life. That's going to allow you to up-level your thoughts, your words, your connections, your conversations, and the information you are downloading into your life. Now, something very important to understand that is majorly throwing off this energy around the time of this new moon is the fact that the new moon is in a square with Neptune. Not only is the new moon in a square with Neptune, but Mercury is also going to fall into this square as he keeps on moving through the energy of Gemini. Now, this square is totally throwing us out of our mental capacity because Neptune is the planet of fantasy, of illusion, of deception, of living in la la land, of not wanting to see things clearly, wearing rose-colored glasses. So our mind is wanting to gain facts, wanting to gain knowledge, wanting to speak something into our reality. But Neptune is like making it foggy, making it hazy, making it cloudy. And so we may not be seeing things very clearly right now. We may not be getting the information that we're needing in the right way that we're needing it. So we're going to have to play into Neptune's energy. We're going to have to work with this. So how do we do that? Well, Neptune is very creative. Because it lives in la la land, it truly thinks that anything exists. And when we're dealing with Neptunian energy, we're able to expand our consciousness. We're able to connect with the divine. We're able to tap into our intuition and see things from a higher perspective. And so one of the major ways for us to move forward at the time of this new moon is to get over the way that we used to absorb information through books, through podcasts, through learning from a teacher, from someone else telling us the information, and shifting towards a Neptunian way of gaining wisdom and knowledge. And Neptune does that through our own intuition, through mental surrender. Sometimes, think of it this way, we want to learn something so much and we go down a rabbit hole and we start researching and we learn about it, and then we watch another podcast, and then we watch a YouTube video, and then we get a book on it, and then we've like absorbed all this information and with so many perspectives from so many different teachers that we don't even know what we believe anymore. It can be so overwhelming mentally. And sometimes we have to surrender and we have to let go, and we have to go inwards and say, what do I believe about this? What do I feel like is the truth? What is the information that resonates with me? Sometimes we don't need to know everything about everything, which is what Mercury in Gemini wants to do. And sometimes we need to just surrender and go inward and find the information out for ourselves. Sometimes that's more impactful and more helpful in moving forward in our lives than what everyone else is telling us how to do it and what to do. That's actually what's happening at this new moon. We're starting a new beginning of learning in a different way than we've ever learned before. And you're probably already feeling that in your life. Maybe you haven't been very called to read a book or to take a class or go back to school. Maybe you just want to do it by your own way, your own path, figuring it out, right? Getting a little delusional, getting a little, into your fantasy creative zone and saying, how can I do this in a way that works for me? And I think that's such a big thing that we're feeling under this new moon energy. And the other thing we deal with Neptune is Neptune deals with our energy, right? Our energetic centers. So maybe right now you're overstimulating your mind and you need to come back to your center, to your groundedness, and check in. What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? What is weighing you down that's preventing you from dreaming a little? Where are you blocking yourself with all the data that you're not able to even see what's possible out there? So I'm going to give you an example when it comes to like money, right? All these gurus say, save your money, invest here, save up for retirement, do X, Y, and Z with your money. But maybe your dream and your fantasy is to like move to another country, right? Your Neptune, your illusion, you're living in la la land. It's on your vision board, but you don't know how it's going to happen with these data points, your bank account, the numbers in your bank account, how much you're supposed to save, all these experts and teachers telling you things. But you're wanting to follow your Neptune illusion, your fantasy, your dream. And so around the time of this new moon, we're being called to reprogram our mind and to rewrite the narrative, the story of our life by going inward and aligning to our energetic center, to our intuition, to our divine, to our higher self, and make the decisions maybe with a little bit more Neptune illusion and belief and trust in what's all possible instead of all the old energy that we've been taught by old teachers and old mentors and old gurus. There's such a shift right now, mentally speaking. Now, the other thing that's perfectly in alignment with all of this, and I mentioned it earlier, is that just a few days after this new moon, the sun is moving into Cancer. And then 2 days after that, Mercury will be following the sun into Cancer. When we get into Cancer season, what does that mean? Cancer deals with water, emotions, and it's the crab. So it's going inward, really going into our own intuition, into our feminine energy of receiving and divine guidance and divine alignment. So we're going to go into a sun season of all of a sudden this mental chatter, do, go, socialize with everyone. And we're going to come home to ourselves and we're going to tap into our intuition and we're going to process all the things that we've learned and understood in Gemini season. So this is all in divine alignment that's going to continue to play out after this new moon energy. So right now you want to rewrite your story, rewrite your narrative, tap into this Neptune delusion and fantasy and thinking a little larger than life, getting out of your head, slowing down the mental chatter, and going within. Now there's another life coach that's playing into this energy, and that is Saturn. We can see Saturn is close to Neptune in the energy of Pisces. Saturn at the time of this new moon has just gone retrograde. Saturn starts as retrograde on June 17th in the energy of Pisces, where Neptune is. By the end of the month, Neptune will also retrograde in the energy of Pisces, making 2 planets retrograde in Pisces. So Saturn retrograde in Pisces is all about the things we just talked about. Our energetic body, trusting, believing, letting go and releasing. I have a whole video on Saturn's retrograde you're going to want to watch as we move into this new moon because it's playing out in the background. Although it's not directly influencing this new moon, this new beginning that we're having, in the way that we're thinking, in the way that we're connecting, in the way that we're moving forward with our mental aspects of life, it's playing out in the background that is influencing us to up-level our life. So I just want to point that out at the time of this new moon. Saturn just went retrograde. And then the last area of the sky that is popping off, let's just say that, is Venus and Mars in Leo. Now, although it's not directly, again, impacting this new moon heavily, it's also playing out in the background for the entire summer. Mars and Venus are our lovers of the zodiac, our feminine and masculine energies. We can see them in the energy of Leo, where Venus will retrograde. And this brings in a dynamic energy to all of this that's going on because Leo is bold, it is prideful, it's wanting to be seen, it's wanting to be recognized, it's wanting to be praised. And Venus, as she's in this energy, is wanting to increase the things in our life that we value and that we want to be known for. And Mars is helping us take action on those things. And because Leo is a lion and it wants to roar, it's about sharing ourselves out into the world. It's about sharing our gifts with pride. It's wanting to express our truth. It's wanting to showcase or highlight our talents. And that is going to be so important for us in the background as we decide with this new moon, the new story, the new narrative of our life that we're wanting to create. The way that we're thinking, the way that we're expressing, the way that we're communicating with others, right? What new beginning? Who do you want to become? Who do you want to be around? How do you want to show up in this world and use your voice to speak up and to speak out? So as this new chapter, a new beginning in Gemini happens, Venus and Mars and Leo are going to help us step into our authenticity and speak up and roar like the lion. And that's just going to continue on energetically as Venus does her retrograde in Leo all the way until October. So lots of energy happening around this new moon. I'm going to give you some rituals and activities that you can do around the time of this new moon to really maximize and work with this energy as you step into this new chapter in your life. The first thing I would do around the time of this new moon, since it really deals with connection and socializing, is I would write down a list of people you are looking to manifest or attract into your life that are going to help you move forward. Are you looking for a specific mentor? Are you looking for a specific therapist? Are you looking for a business partner or someone to collaborate with? Get it down on paper. New moons as time for new beginnings and manifesting and setting intentions. So if there is some social connection, that's Gemini, that you're needing to manifest, that's new moon, into your life, you're going to want to take some time to really zone in on that around the time of this new moon. The second thing I would do around the time of this new moon is if you're wanting to start something new that is allowing you to speak your voice or to tell your story, I will get working on that. Is it writing a book? Is it writing a blog? Is it sharing your story on a podcast? Maybe it's not even your own podcast. Maybe you're wanting to go on someone else's existing podcast. Maybe you're wanting to open up about something in your life to someone you love. Maybe it's something from your childhood that you haven't shared with someone. If you're wanting to expand and open up and speak your truth in some way or another, I get going on that around the time of this new moon. It's a beautiful energy to step into that Leo roaring pride that you should have for your own unique talents, gifts, abilities, and story. And the third thing I would do around the time of this new moon, since it deals with the energy of Gemini and learning something, if there's something in your life that you've wanting to expand your mind around, maybe it's something like learning a new language, maybe it's about diving deeper into astrology, maybe it is wanting to learn how to do a DIY project. This would be a great time around this new moon to tap into that because you're going to be absorbing information a little easier with Mercury in his home sign and your ability to start this new chapter in your life of absorbing information. Just be a little careful at the beginning with Neptune involved, which makes things a little hazy or foggy. But if you can work with that energy, just expand your mind and allow all things to be possible. If you know where Gemini falls within your own unique birth chart, what house it falls in, that's going to be the specific area of your life you're going to want to work with. So for instance, I am a Scorpio rising, which means that Gemini falls in my 8th house, the house of transformation. And so around this time, I'm really looking at the areas of my life that I want to transform, specifically by sharing my story and by educating people in ways that they too can transform their life. So if you have any questions about that, we can dive into a personal astro forecast reading. We could do a mini session if you're wanting to just talk specifically about this new moon. If you're wanting to book any of that, you can find that all in the description box below. If you don't have your copy of the 2023 Astrology Retrograde Journal, it is also on sale. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Come back for more astrology information related to relationships. You can find me over on Instagram and TikTok at the Relational Astrologer for more short format and educational information. So with love and light for this new moon in Gemini, I will catch you in the next video.